This is a podcast from soof.co.uk. Hello, I'm Patrick Downs. This is all about film, whether it be Blu-ray, DVD or streaming. This is Bring the Film. Chaos Walking is about the not-too-distant future. Todd Hewitt discovers Viola, a mysterious girl who crash lands on his planet where all the women have disappeared and the men are affected by the noise, a force that puts all their thoughts on display. In this dangerous landscape, Viola's life is threatened, and as Todd vows to protect her, he'll have to discover his own inner power and unlock the planet's dark secrets.
I know your truth. An orphan runt, unwanted, weak, like a woman.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know. Never seen a real woman before. They're all gone. Wouldn't know a woman before.
Weak.
Directed by Doug Liman and stars Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley and Mads Mikkelsen. Our film correspondent Hayley Donaghy caught up with Daisy Ridley, who plays Viola, about what attracted her to the role.
I read the script first and then I'd read the books, and I thought it was such an interesting concept because what Patrick Ness does so well is make something that is appealing to a really broad audience, but then you come away with it and you think, oh, and there are all these things that you didn't sort of realize you were seeing, and then it's hitting you and you're like, oh, it's the interaction between sexes and what happens when people control and coerce people using power and lies. And so it's all of this stuff layered underneath this fun action adventure. So I was interested in all of that. And then also, you know, it's fun getting to learn to ride a motorbike and stuff like that. But watching it as well, it's so beautiful, even though it's a very dark story. It's such a beautiful film, and there's so much hope underneath it all, which is what we all need now.
And Tom Holland, I mean, just how much fun is he to work with? And did you also get to play table tennis on set?
I did not play table tennis. So when we filmed in Montreal and we tweaked that bit. So actually, I think we ended up filming somewhere else. And then I found out that Doug and Tom had been like playing ping pong. I was like, ooh. But Doug had me and Flora, who's my hair and makeup artist, over for dinner, and I played on his like VR headset thing. So I guess that's a fun alternative, even though no, I was never invited to ping pong.
Gutted. But I mean, how much fun is Tom to share scenes with?
Todd is quite a departure from Spider-Man. He is, you know, doesn't know much of the world and believes what he has been told by the people in his life. So it's quite a journey for Todd. But yeah, we spent like 3 months running around Canada with a dog. It was great.
What more could you ask for? It really terrifies me, the sort of thought of your innermost thoughts always being on display. What do you think you would hate people to hear about for your innermost thoughts?
I don't know that I'd be so worried about me, but I genuinely don't care to hear other people's thoughts. It's funny, I was watching Notting Hill last night, and you know the bit where Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant are sat in the restaurant and they overhear the guys talking, and it's like a classic example of people thinking they're not being overheard, but they are. And it is so awful to watch, and that's actually them choosing to say what they're saying, but I feel like it would be that all the time. And in London it would be so noisy, like it's already noisy. Imagine being on rush hour.
That actually would be awful. And just finally, your director, we have to talk about him, Doug Liman. He's just a genius. How great is he to work with?
He's interesting, Doug. He's got quite a process. He's hilarious because, like, I jokingly said, why don't I have like a whistle thing that I do and like look up to the heavens and like summon my ship, jokingly, and he'll go, yeah, okay, and really consider it. There's something so sweet about that. You think, yeah, you don't shoot down any silly ideas. He definitely has a very particular way of working, but it ends up great because his films are awesome. And he also makes really good dumplings, which is a bonus.
The survivor, what did he look like?
He was too fast, I couldn't see his face. I don't know how he was doing it, but he didn't have any noise.
No noise? No, you're kidding me.
Find her!
I'll find her, Pa.
Her? Wait, what? Her? Find her? It's a girl.
And our film correspondent Hayley Donaghy caught up with the author and the screenplay writer Patrick Ness about his inspiration for the book.
The inspiration mostly came from how the internet has kind of made us all feel a little noisier. and how, as time has passed, we've shared more and more of ourselves. And the initial question is, what would happen if we had no choice in the matter? What if we had to share everything? And particularly, how would that affect somebody young and grown up? And the fact that men had the noise and women didn't, that was just a way to press on the issue of human difference, of how we can't seem to accept difference as equivalent. It's either better or worse. So we've got to attack it one way or the other. So I'm not trying to make some huge statement about that in particular, but I think the world has only gotten noisier since the books have come out.
Absolutely. And we have to talk about casting. Wow. To what extent do you think about your casting when you're writing, and does that kind of change when thinking about the film version? And please do talk us through your incredible cast.
Well, when I'm writing the book, I don't think about any cast at all. They kind of exist in my head, and I'm trying not to put a face to them. But once you get to the screenplay level and people get cast, and you've got Tom Holland in the lead and Daisy Ridley in the other lead, and then they bring on Mads Mikkelsen as your primary villain, who's much more ambiguous than that, and then they pad out the supporting roles with David Oyelowo and Cynthia Erivo. I mean, that's incredible stuff. That I used to giggle. I lived in LA for a very long time, and you'd always meet a waiter who had Brad Pitt attached to his script. So I always laugh at the idea of casting. But unbelievable, the cast that came onto this one. And once you've got them, you absolutely start sculpting the characters to their strengths and how they embody them. I mean, actors bring so much to the role.
Absolutely. And Doug Liman, I mean, quite a challenging story to film, especially with the noise aspect. Just how delighted were you when he came on board, such a legendary director, and obviously impressed with his approach?
He's got such an amazing filmography, and it's all over the place too. And that's the kind of way that I try to write books. I always want to try to do something different the next time. And every movie he does, he seems to be challenging himself to try something radically different. And so it felt just such a fresh energy. And he's constantly shooting. He's constantly looking for the thing. It felt there's this kind of restless energy behind it all that really, really matched well with the books and the themes of the books and the way the movie needs to move. It's a good, perfect match, I think.
And I really enjoyed when Viola says, do you just believe everything that you're told? It's kind of raises that female questioning nature. And I was wondering for you, to what extent is the film and stories about the power of lies and those who believe them?
Very much about the power of lies. And about how they take on a life of their own. And the amazing thing is that this is a world where all the men can hear what all the other men are thinking. So how should it be possible to lie? And the reason is because we can lie to ourselves. And that gets us into so much trouble as human beings. So it's very, very much about finding out what the truth is, and when you find out what the truth is, and how helpful is the truth, and how painful is it going to be, but how necessary in the end, which tends to be what all my books are about, and is very much what this movie is about, I think.
Can you tell me how you came to be here?
I was scouting.
So you come from a larger ship?
Yeah. We lost contact with the first wave colony, so we were sent ahead to scout.
And this ship will be coming for you. How big is it?
It's the largest in our fleet. Holds 4,000 people.
And it will be landing where?
Why?
Chaos Walking is Certificate 12A. And with that, thanks for checking me out on the Bring the Film podcast today. I'm Patrick Downs, and you can keep in touch across Twitter at I'm Patrick Downs, also on Instagram, or facebook.com/officialpoptart. And there's also the website soof.co.uk. This is a podcast from soof.co.uk.